Hello YouTube, Dave here again. A couple of years ago, I started a video series trying to catalog my RPG collection. And when I first started, I never did get to finish the series. It's something that I do want to pick back up, and that's one of the reasons that I'm making this video, but it's not the sole reason. But when I first started that series, for the most part, I was pretty confident that most of the RPGs that I had in my collection I was done collecting for, which is, very optimistic, I guess I'll say, considering that I think almost every single one of the systems that I had done videos for previously have all had new things added to them over the years since I started it. But regardless, it was a fun series to do, and I kind of want to do sort of an updated version and hopefully get through everything this time. But I want to start with one of the earlier videos that I did in that series, which was my Call of Cthulhu collection. And I want to start with the Call of Cthulhu collection because the last thing that I want to show off is something that is only available for a limited time. So I want to do what I can to raise awareness of it, so that people that might be interested in getting it will have hopefully a good chance to be able to do so. Plus, I've just added a bunch of stuff to my Cthulhu RPG collection. When I did the first video, I only had 5 books, and now I've been able to add a few more as well, including like the actual current stuff, because the stuff that I had before, even at the time that I was able to finally add them to my collection originally, they were all out of date at that point as well. So we're going to start with those early products that I had, and before moving on to the newer stuff here. And of course, we have to start with the D20 Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. This book was a joint effort between Chaosium and Wizards of the Coast, and it's largely a D20 product. So you have the D20 rule set, you have characters gaining experience points and leveling levels 1 through 20, the way that a 3rd edition D&D character would. The Call of Cthulhu system came out in 2002. So it was right shortly before the update to 3.5. But you also have like the skills from it's like skill points and skills from the 3rd edition system. But you have like the sanity system, and the Cthulhu mythos like skill was based off of the Chaosium stuff, and it's just a very interesting hybrid system, and it's something I do want to do a video kind of talking about and giving my thoughts on it, all these years later. But I can't deny how cool the book looks and how happy I was to be able to add this to my collection, because I missed out on it when it was originally in print. And by the time I wanted to get it, it was out of print, and I had a friend who had all the stuff. The first few things I'm going to show were actually stuff that I got from him secondhand, but he was sort of looking to pare down his collection some, and he knew that I would appreciate these books, so he offered them to me. I bought them off him, and I'm really pleased that I did. So, like I said, I'm not going to flip through the book in this video. I'm just going to show that I have it, but we will show like the back cover here. But yeah, so this is something that I do want to do a video on in the future, kind of giving you my thoughts on it. So to go along with the Call of Cthulhu D20 system rulebook, I also have the D20 Call of Cthulhu campaign, the Nocturnum campaign, and where the rulebook was done with Wizards of the Coast and Chaosium. This is purely a Chaosium product, but it is designed specifically for the D20 role-playing game. It's a campaign set in modern times, modern as in like the year 2000, 2002, when this would have come out. But it's a really, really cool campaign, and something that I do want to talk about again at some point in the future as well. Now, I mentioned that that book was specifically designed for only the D20 system, because Chaosium was also putting out books that were designed to be used with both the Chaosium Call of Cthulhu edition that was out at the time, which I think it was 6th edition, it may have been 5th edition, that was available at the time, but they made books that were available for that as well as the D20 system. So those are the next 3 books that we're going to talk about here very briefly, and these are essentially campaign setting books. We have the Dunwich Return to the Forgotten Village book. So again, it is a dual system. It's designed for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game as well as the D20 system. So they have the Chaosium version and the Wizards of the Coast version. and you got like the D20 logo on there as well in the corner. So again, awesome stuff there. It's great to have, again, detailed campaign information, and they did pick some of their more iconic locations from the stories. The next one that we have here is Kingsport, the City in the Mist. Again, this is dual system, 1920s, designed for both the Call of Cthulhu Chaosium RPG as well as the D20 version. Again, it's a campaign setting book. And then we have the Arkham book, which is the thickest of the three that I own. And yeah, Arkham is one of my favorite locations to use in my Call of Cthulhu adventures or scenarios when I do run them. So I'm really happy to have this book here as well. And there was also an Innsmouth book, which I really would love to get my hands on one of these days. I should actually check and see if it's available on Drive-Thru RPG. I know they have Call of Cthulhu stuff there. I don't know if they do print on demand for it or not. But the Innsmouth book is the last one that I want to get for that classic dual system product line. So that was my stuff that I had before in the original video, but we do have some new stuff with the new edition of Call of Cthulhu as well. So we've got the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu Keeper's Rulebook. And yeah, this is just a big beefy book. I love the fact that it has the built-in bookmarks. And yeah, this is the system that I finally got a chance to run. My first Call of Cthulhu adventures that I've ever run. Adventures is not the right term. The Call of Cthulhu scenarios, because I wouldn't really call it an adventure so much as it is a a step into a terror-filled universe. But yeah, I absolutely love this system. It's the newest one that's out. So this is if you go to your local game store, this is the version of the Call of Cthulhu game that you should be able to, if they don't have it in stock, should be able to get ordered in. And it's an absolutely fantastic system. I love it to death. To go along with the Keeper Rulebook, I also picked up the Investigator Handbook. So I've added that to my collection as well. I never really did get a chance to use this in play. I picked up the Keeper Rulebook shortly before the pandemic hit. And I did pick this book up hoping to use it in my future Call of Cthulhu games. But I just, by the time I had it, I was no longer running the system, unfortunately, but it's something that I hope to rectify in the near future. So again, great stuff here. Says the Investigator Handbook contains expanded rules for creating player characters, a wealth of over 100 occupations and skill descriptions, guidance on getting the most from the game. What's more, there are a range of organizations for your investigators to belong to, detailed information about the classic 1920s setting, equipment and weapons for both the 1920s and modern day, and expert tips and advice for all budding investigators. So yeah, just again, a player's expansion book, but awesome, awesome stuff. I also picked up the Call of Cthulhu Pulp Cthulhu. This is the two-fisted action and adventure against the mythos. So this is the system where calling the scenarios adventures actually makes sense. This is kind of based off of like pulp noir kind of concepts. And it's set in the 1930s instead of the 1920s, so they kind of bumped it up a decade, which is really cool. And it's a more action-oriented version of the game. Your characters have different, basically like talents, which are kind of similar to feats. They give them abilities that regular Call of Cthulhu characters just simply wouldn't have. Again, the characters in this are much beefier in terms of being able to engage in combat. So if you like a more action-oriented system, then Pulp Cthulhu would be the one to go for if you're looking for like eldritch horror while still being able to like punch deep ones in the face. So again, really, really cool stuff here. Just a really neat concept. And I haven't been able to use this book either, but hopefully one of these days I will be able to. And then I also picked up the Keeper Screen. So I have done a review of the Keeper Screen, showing everything that was in there and giving my thoughts on it. So I'm not going to take it apart here because it's going to be a hassle to get everything back together. But I will say, as somebody who loves collecting Game Master screens, the Keeper Screen for Call of Cthulhu, the 7th edition one at least, is one of, if not my favorite screen product that I've ever purchased. So I kind of like the things that I can kind of compare it to is how recently Wizards of the Coast with the 5th edition DM screens they've been putting out, the Wilderness Survival Kit and the Dungeon Survival Kit, those have some cool stuff added into it. But the stuff that's included in this is just so phenomenal. It's like I said, just for sheer value for your money. This is the best screen, Game Master screen product I have ever owned, and I absolutely love it. It has adventures included. It has handouts. You got the character sheets. It just has all kinds of awesome stuff included here. So if you're interested, I will have my Call of Cthulhu playlist at the end of the video. You can click on, and you can check out the actual unboxing. Unboxing is kind of the wrong term, but the product opening and review of that, because yeah, it's just an awesome screen. All right, so that was some of my 7th edition Call of Cthulhu stuff, but I haven't yet shown what got me into 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, which is the Call of Cthulhu starter set. So this is the starter set for the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu game, and this is, again, if the screen's one of my favorite all-times, this Call of Cthulhu starter set is, once again, one of my all-time favorite starter sets of the pretty decent collection of starter sets that I own. So this includes a rulebook, which has really everything that you need to design and run your own scenarios. You can get tons of use out of this before ever really dipping into the actual core rulebook, which is great. I think that more starter sets should try to, strive to have at least the rulebook portion of it be super useful beyond just running the scenarios that are included in here. And when I was actually running my Call of Cthulhu games, the rulebook in the starter set is what I kept going back to for reference. I had the core rulebook with me. I was able to, flip through the book and find all the stuff that I needed. But I decided that it was just easier for me to use the rulebook that's included in here. The only downsides of the starter set rulebook is that it doesn't have a ton of creatures for you to use in your game. So if but if you're a fan of designing your own, creatures, then that's fine. And it doesn't have these magic tomes or rules for spell casting. So those are the things that are kind of missing from this, but overall, just a really fantastic product. It includes a few scenarios as well as a solo scenario, which I did a playthrough of, which you can also find on that playlist. And I've seen some other systems that have solo play in their starter sets, but they're usually a very short, couple of rooms basically that you get to explore, a combat scenario and, determining whether you succeed or fail on your attack rolls or stuff like that. But it's usually pretty limited. It's only a couple pages long. The paper chase is actually its own booklet, and there's a ton in there that you can do. And I didn't fare very well, but it was an awesome time and something that I might try doing again in the future to see if I, don't die as horrifically as I did. Spoilers in the solo play that I did. So yeah, again, I love box sets, I love starter sets, and this is one of my all-time favorite starter sets. So good, in fact, that I recently picked up the 40th anniversary reprint's probably not the right term, but the updated version of the starter set. So this is the 40th anniversary version. It's updated with errata and stuff like that, but the overall contents in here are still the same. It's the same adventures, the same maps, the same characters. The presentation's a little bit different, like the books are green colored here and have artwork on them instead of just having, oh, I guess there were artwork on the other ones as well. But you had like sort of the burgundy color, maroon colored books. Now you got they're green. The character sheets have sort of a different look to them as well. But overall, it is the same box set, just with, again, clarification, sort of updated errata inclusion, as well as just a slightly different presentation. So this is something that's going to remain sealed, but I was really glad that my local game store got this in, and this just a few days after they got their order that had this in there, I was down and ended up adding that to my collection. And finally, we have the thing that I basically wanted to talk about in this video the most, and that is the classic Call of Cthulhu reprint. This is a box set put out by Chaosium as part of the 40th anniversary celebration. It was originally done as like a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter was obviously successful. They printed copies for that, as well as some to take around to conventions, and they have some leftover inventory that they're looking to sell now on their website. I will be including a link to their website in the description below, so you can check out this as well as the other cool stuff from the current edition that I've shown off, as well as some other really cool RPGs that they do as well. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking this out, because once these sell out, they're gone. And that's going to be it. The 1-inch set is what I have here. There's also a 2-inch set. That's basically the height of the box. So this one here, again, part of the 40th anniversary, the contents are the same in the 1-inch or 2-inch box. It's just the 2-inch box has a few extra things in there that this one obviously doesn't. But this does include the Call of Cthulhu rules. So the first book is called Call of Cthulhu, which explains the characteristics, skills, occupations, and resources available to investigators. It used the variant of the basic role-playing system that Chaosium was using at the time. You also have the second book, which is a source book for the 1920s. And then you have, additionally included in here, you have character and monster silhouettes for play, which you kind of see a couple of examples of here. The silhouettes are meant to provide a sense of scale as well, because you'll have some of the creatures, and next to them will be like a silhouette of a human. So you can see size comparisons. Like, for example, they have like a silhouette of Cthulhu and the little tiny human next to him, which is really cool. It also includes a keeper screen, which is a thinner cardstock product. It's not like the super thick ones that we have nowadays. This is, again, a reprint of something that came out in the early 1980s. So it is going to be a thinner cardstock, but it's still really cool that it has the keeper screen at all. It does include a ruby colored anniversary dice set. So the dice that are in here are not the same ones that would have been included with the original box set, which I'm pretty sure the original box set had dice as well. But these ones are like the updated ruby colored ones. Chaosium did an unboxing video on their YouTube channel, so I recommend checking that out to kind of see what's in there. The dice actually do look really nice. And then you have like the character sheets and a map of the world, as well as some like information on dig sites and stuff like that as well. So it's just, again, a really awesome product and a great way to have like a callback to the earliest versions of the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which is, like I said, it's one of my favorite systems. I love the Cthulhu mythos, and the RPG is great. I regret that it's taken me as long as it has to get into the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, and I do kind of want to rectify that by going back and getting stuff like the 6th edition rule book, which I think was only soft cover. So I would love to get that, because I had chances to buy that years ago when it was new, and I just never did bite the bullet on that. But this is something, again, it is a very limited time product, and once it's gone, it's gone. The 2-inch version has everything that's in here, plus they have a few scenario books as well. So if you want to have those, then there's some great stuff in there as well. I just couldn't justify spending $120 Canadian. Or actually, I think it was maybe even been a little bit more than that. The 1-inch set has everything that I personally would want in a box set, and it was around $50, $55 Canadian, and that was a little bit easier to swallow for me personally. But like I said, if you're a fan of the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, and you kind of want to check out some of the earlier versions of it, this is a great way to start. And again, it is only going to be around for a limited period of time. So I wanted to get this video out so that hopefully, if this is something that you're interested in, you'll be able to jump on it and be able to pick it up before it sells out and people start scalping it. Like I said, check out the link in the description below. So that is my Call of Cthulhu collection. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your favorite Call of Cthulhu role-playing game related experiences or memories. What are some of your favorite Call of Cthulhu books, editions? Let me know all that stuff in the comments below. So thank you guys once again very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Until then, take care.